All right, and welcome back to Pellet Tech 101. Still have the Harman Feed System right here. And one of the things I wanted to highlight in this video is the Sawdust Cleanout Box. Now, as you're facing your Harman stove, typically this is going to be on the right side. You're going to have to remove one of the rear panels or one of the rear side panels in order to access this. A lot of times comes from the very back. Now, depending if I have a direct drive feed system like I do here or a chain drive feed system, I may need to finagle or move some things around a little bit to be able to have proper access to this. I do know with the Harman chain drive feed system, oftentimes I do have to loosen up that auger motor. I do have to drop off the first sprocket of the chain to be able to access the sawdust cleanout area. But it is important that we're able to get in here and at least check this once a season on an average, or every 2 to 4 tons of pellets that go through the unit. We absolutely want to check the sawdust cleanout box. You will notice a difference in the amount of accumulation of sawdust based on the kind of pellets that you're burning. Generally speaking, softwoods, Douglas firs, pine spruces, there's more lignin that's in that sawdust, so there's generally a tighter bond with the pellet, and we generally have less sawdust that's in the bags as in a comparison to our maples and our oaks and some of our different hardwoods out there. But there's a lot of different variances with the pellets, again, as sawdust accumulates in here, it can create some issues within the feed system. So anytime that we're maybe having some issues with the unit jamming up or pellets not flowing through properly, we always want to give a check here to the sawdust cleanout box. Now, depending on the year, this may look a little bit different. Some of the newer ones, this is smaller. Some have 2 wing nuts instead of 1 wing nuts. So just depending on the model and depending on the year or the generation of the feed system, the sawdust cleanout box may look a little bit different, or the cover plate may look a little bit different, but essentially all the same. So we're just going to go ahead and open up that wing nut. Again, if your wing nut is really tight on there, soak it down a little WD-40 or grab a pliers if your fingers can't twist that off so that we can fully remove that wing nut. This cover right here is going to come off. This particular one has a kind of a pressed gasket seal that's all the way around it here that allows it an airtight piece that's in there. This is going to basically expose our area. Now this one obviously is clean here on this demo feed system, but generally speaking, we're going to see sawdust that accumulates up here and can push up enough. And I've seen units where it's been packed in here enough where it's actually putting pressure on the slide plate that's moving back and forth, sometimes creating noises, squealing, grinding, and sometimes having issues dumping pellets into the actual auger shaft so it can churn it into the burn pot. So again, just important, I would say on average every 2 to 4 tons of pellets, we want to pop open that cover. We want to check the sawdust cleanout area right here and vacuum out any fines that are sitting down there. Now, our arm right here will move back and forth. This is where our slide plate is right here. Again, we can go into some deeper stuff with how the actual functioning and the mechanisms work inside the feed system. But for this video in particular, I just wanted to be able to expose this area, show you where those fines are going to accumulate, and again, make note that it's an important part of your regular cleaning and maintenance that we're taking off that sawdust cleanout door and that we're inspecting any buildup or any fines. Now, generally speaking, I'm just going to stick my shop vac nozzle in there, a crevice nozzle, and suck up all of those accumulated fines that are down there, or sawdust pieces, and get that cleaned out. But obviously, yeah, we can use like a dry paintbrush if need be. Have some sort of a container underneath as we're brushing that stuff out of there. But generally speaking, the easiest way is just to grab our shop vac and get that sucked out. Once we have it cleaned out, we're just going to grab our cover, line that hole back up, get that on, and put that wing nut back in place. And again, don't have to crank it down, but definitely want that wing nut snug on there. But this one will go back on for me. All right, just like that. So that is an overview on the Harman Sawdust Cleanout Box. Again, you're going to see that on just about virtually every freestanding stove, fireplace insert, furnace, and boiler on the Harman line. So again, having that as a regular checkpoint for your cleaning and maintenance, I find is important. Any questions at all when it comes to the Sawdust Cleanout Box or the feed system in general, feel free to leave us a comment in the video here below. We're always happy to help and make sure that you're taken care of. So thanks again for joining us for another session of Pellet Tech 101, and we'll see you soon.